Diet Coke. What happens if you have 12 Diet Cokes a day? Is it good for you? Is it bad for you? Well, we could look at Donald Trump as an example of what Diet Coke could do to you, because apparently, according to his campaign manager who wrote a book about Trump, he consumes McDonald's, all sorts of bad food, Oreos, but he has this affinity for Diet Coke. He has 12 cans of it every single day, which is interesting because back in 2012, he tweeted the following: "I have never seen a thin person drinking Diet Coke."
Well, he's also not in the mirror, that's true.
All right. So according to reports, Trump, by the way, New York Times reported this over the weekend, Trump has a button to summon household staff for one of the 12 Diet Cokes he drinks each day, because God forbid he has to get up and get that Diet Coke himself. Also, some research regarding Diet Coke is mixed, and I want to talk about that in just a second. But Cenk, you used to be a huge fan of Diet Coke. What are your thoughts about this? What do you feel about the fact that you now share a similarity with Donald Trump?
Okay, so I like the framing on that, but I can't quite talk to you because I'm trapped inside a glass house. So do I eat bad fast food all the time like Trump? Yes. Am I monstrous enough to eat my steaks well done? No. Okay, I eat a medium rare and with no ketchup. But it's okay, it's okay. He's got bad eating habits, I have bad eating habits. He drinks Diet Coke, I drink Coke. I used to drink Diet Coke, but I got the sense it was making me hungrier. And it was leading me to eat more, and then it was counterproductive. That was my sense of it.
So I didn't know this until I dug a little deeper into the research that's been done on artificial sweeteners. I thought that it was already conclusive, that artificial sweeteners, they're bad for you, you should stay away. But the results are pretty mixed on these studies. One of the findings, though, is that artificial sweeteners do tend to make you hungrier. And so through the research that's been done with that, they found correlation, no causation. So that's what I mean when the jury is mixed. But I do think that drinking 12 cans of anything every day is a bad idea, especially when you take into account the caffeine in Diet Coke. Look, we already know that he doesn't sleep much. And he's drinking 12 cans of Diet Coke a day, which includes a lot of caffeine. He needs to get some sleep. He needs to get off Twitter. He needs to stop drinking Diet Coke. There were some studies that also indicated that diet drinks could increase your risk of stroke. But again, causation was not proven in those studies. So either way, I'm not gonna hate on him for eating fast food, because I like fast food too.
Okay, so I think this is the least of Donald Trump's problems. But to your point about not getting much sleep, you might think, well, he's the president, he's working hard, that's good. No. In that same New York Times article, they talked about how he gets up at 5:30 in the morning, okay, and immediately turns on television and proceeds to watch 4 to 8 hours of TV every day. 8 hours is a full-time job, and he's the president of the United States. That's when he's not golfing over the weekend at one of his properties. But his hypocrisy is, in this case, because it's not that important, amusing. Like, Diet Coke, who drinks that? I've never seen it. I drink it like crazy, because he can't help it. He has to lie about everything. Yeah. He has to be a hypocrite about everything, right? And on the golf, he criticized Obama over and over and over again on how much he golfed. And now he golfs twice or 3 times as much as Obama. He's amazing. Again, if you're a Donald Trump supporter, you look at that stuff and go, man, I love it when the president's a hypocrite. Oh God, when he lies like that and it's so obvious, it's great.
Well, I mean, whenever those stories come out regarding him being a hypocrite, they just reject those stories as fake news. And it happens over and over again. Trump can give an interview where he contradicts himself in the same interview, and his base will think that it's some sort of manipulation by the media or some sort of fabrication by them. And that's the part that drives me crazy, because how are you gonna reason with the unreasonable?
You know, I think at this point he might even be messing with his own supporters. Like, he might now do an interview where he's drinking a Diet Coke, going, I don't drink Diet Coke, that's fake news. Wait for it,
but wait for it. They'll believe it.
And they'll believe it.
Yeah.
They'll believe it. Who remember the guy on CNN who said, if Jesus came down and told me Trump was wrong, I'd ask Trump first.
Okay. Do you, boo?
Okay. You just watched the video by the Young Turks, home of the revolution. If you'd like to get a lot more than that, get the full show by becoming a member. tytnetwork.com/members. McDonald.com/join.